very special day. I woke up early this morning with gloom on my head. Had a big feeling to climb back in bed. Then I looked in the mirror and somebody said, wake up, wake up. It's time for you to lose the blues, and this is a very special treat. Tell it to everyone you meet, that life is all for living and love is all for giving. So this is a very special day. Tell it to everyone along the way, that this is a very special day. Early this morning with gloom on my head. Had a big feeling to climb back in bed. Then I looked in the mirror and somebody said, wake up, wake up. It's time for you to lose the blues, and this is a very special treat. Tell it to everyone you meet, that life is all for living and love is all for giving. So this is a very special day. Tell it to everyone along the way, that this is a very special day.
Very special day it is. It is a Monday. That means my partner in crime. Happy Martin Luther King Day is Laura Lee. Good morning, Laura.
Good morning, Miss Becky.
Happy Monday. In the hot seat, we do have with us, we have our own commissioner. Todd Ewen, good morning.
Good morning.
So glad to have you with us, and I'm going to pick that microphone closer to you.
All right.
Because I know you've got a lot to say, and we don't want to miss every word of it, okay?
I don't know about that.
Also, we have Emma with us in the house. Emma says she's not going to talk this morning. Good morning, Emma.
Good morning.
Good morning. She was gonna say, "Hey, girls." That's gone away. She's not doing that this morning. But Laura, let's thank our sponsors.
Absolutely. We want to thank Meadowview Healthcare, Walmart, Salem Crossing, Hoosier Uplands, Celebrity Home Loans, Dr. Black's Eye Associates, and Fox Burley Wealth Management.
All right, we're on to the 16th day of January. Today is Appreciate a Dragon Day. I love dragons. Right?
Never met one.
Oh, I love the wonderful stories. You know, think of Shrek and the dragon, right? And the thing that too, they showed almost like the little ones that people have, like I guess there's like bearded dragons people have, and looks I don't know what it would look like this kind of a dragon.
You mean for pets?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like a dragon.
Yeah, I know someone who just got one of those.
Ooh, are they good pets?
I don't know. I've never had one.
Did they full report the dragons like that?
Oh, and
Bearded dragons, yeah. They say they make good pets, you know. I think they're kind of hard to raise, though. Blue Monday, no Blue Monday here, right? No. Book Publisher Day. All right. Elementary School Teacher Day. Yay. Hats off to all them elementary school teachers that get those are superpowers there, right?
Absolutely.
They get to sleep in. I hope they do get to sleep in today. I hope they get a good, nice little break.
Absolutely.
International Hot and Spicy Food. Todd, you like hot and spicy food?
Love the stuff.
Ooh. What about you, Laura?
Absolutely.
I'm working on it. Yeah, I'm working on it. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. We know that. National Day of Service. Love that, everyone. Right? National Fig Newton Day. You like Fig Newtons, Todd?
Yeah, they're all right.
I've not had any forever.
Yeah,
what about
it's
you,
been a
Laura?
They're supposed to be good for you.
I was going to say, yeah, remember?
Long
National Good Teen Day.
Good team.
Emma, we're
Yeah.
looking at you.
Already on her phone.
I'm a good teen.
Yeah, she's a good teen. Yeah, she's a good teen. National Nothing Day. I don't know about that. Ooh, okay, we're going to tread easy. We got our commissioner in here. National Pothole Day.
We've got a few of those,
A
not
few of
very
those.
many.
That's right. Working on it, working hard in the county, right? National Religious Freedom Day. So get out and enjoy. All right. And this is actually Healthy Weight Week, National Fresh Squeezed Juice Week, and Be Kind to Service Workers, Book Blitz Month. Laura, real quick, we do need to go over your New Year's resolution was to kind of read more. Are you doing? How many books have we got down?
I have gotten 4 down so far, but one of those was only a half because I hadn't finished it last year. So,
Todd, did you make any New Year's resolution?
No, I don't do that.
we normally don't keep
We
them,
don't-
so I'm
we don't
determined
do
on
it.
keeping
What's the
this
point?
one.
We just tread lightly for fun, and we just do it lightly. You know what I mean?
Right.
Emma, did you make one?
No.
No. I am. Mine was supposed to be some relaxation and rest and relax, a little more of that, and maybe I have done a little more of that.
Good. That's a good thing.
Starting off, a little bit. We just try to. We make them doable. You know what I mean? We don't do anything.
Not crazy.
We are not hard on ourselves. Okay.
It's a good thing.
It's a great thing for sure. So, anyway, this is Martin Luther King Day. I want to remind everybody our landfill is closed today.
Mhm.
A lot of the banks are closed today. Some of the restaurants are closed in our community on Monday anyway. So I'm just trying to go over everything.
Courts are closed today.
The courts, yeah. So
County's closed.
the
Yep.
county's closed. Schools are off today. So if you have somewhere you need to be or want to be, you might call to make sure that they're open or not. So here's what my dad would say: everybody with a good job is off today.
Absolutely.
So obviously, what does that say about us, right?
Wise words.
Here we sit.
Yeah, he'd say, "Oh, you got a good job." So anyway, for anybody that does have the day off, good for you, and thank you for waking up and spending the morning with us and waking up with us this morning. All right, let's talk about. We do have some changes coming up this week in our construction. It looks like we're going to have to talk a little bit more to get a little more clarity. But it looks like some of the work that's going on 56 and 60 there are going to go a little bit further. So it's going to be a little more difficult. It looks like we're going to take different traveling routes to get into town, right?
Yes. Yep. As you will often see going down the highway with these big digital signs, especially on the interstates, expect delays.
So I think it's going to be, of course, if we were talking about this, and we've talked about it several times. If you're like in Mitchell, like it tells you to avoid, to avoid, like if you're a big semi to avoid, but we do know that sometimes your GPS will tell you otherwise and you think you can go through. And right now, unless they did it right this second, this morning they had it open still, but it's going to make it so the way I understand it, unless they make it a one lane, for those out in the west area, you're going to have to either take Collier Road,
That's right.
which will be a beautiful scenic tour.
Yeah.
So just
Yeah.
Laura and I might even have a lemonade stand. You know what I mean?
Hey.
We'll just do a hot chocolate stand.
I mean, do we know a farmer out through there? We could.
Yeah, absolutely. I
On the
know
spot
quite a few
from.
of them. Yeah, I'm sure they would let us have a hot chocolate stand. And if we supplied them hot chocolate. So, but anyway, so that's going to be a little bit of but again, the reason we're saying this, we're not complaining, we're explaining, so you allow a little extra time, like you said, for delays or
Right.
for changes. We can do this. And again, we've said this the whole time, trust the process, and it's going to be wonderful for our community.
Yeah. It'll make things much smoother when it's finished. It's just a little pain in the meantime.
Yeah. Well, and it, when you look at something, and like when there's money that's given to our community from the city, which was granted a lot of money to the county, I mean, that's a huge blessing to do the repairs and do things that needed attention.
It is.
Now, how much do you have, I guess, as far as the commissioners in the county, how much do we have, or is this all state driven?
It's all state.
Yeah.
The only thing they consult us on is the alternate routes, and Superintendent Boyles, he takes care of that, and most of the time you have no choice. They suggest an alternate route, and we say yes, and any damage that's done due to the alternate route on our county roads. The state is pretty good about helping us out if the big trucks do any damage because of the additional traffic. So we do try to get along, work with the state as much as possible.
Well, and that's a good thing. It's good everybody working together. And it is going to be, I mean, and I think everybody to the west, it's going to be inconvenient. It's going to be a little bit of, like a, moment. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
It's true.
But that's okay. And you just have to remember, this is like investing dollars and working to make things better. And I know, like with the city and all of the stuff going on, we had the mayor in last week, and talking about getting new water lines, getting new electrical lines, and things that haven't been repaired and done in years that are getting new, and then down the pipe, it won't have to be done for another many more
Right.
years.
Yeah.
And doing it right.
May be a blessing in disguise. There's lots of infrastructure that's been there for many years, and this is a good excuse to get it done. And once the pain is over, I think everything will be fine.
So for those that are listening, I believe the best route, and help me on this, I was going to actually drive it. You would go through the College or Orchard way and then come up through Beck's Mill. Is that?
That's right. Yeah.
Is that the way?
Yeah.
Well, you get to see the new bridge, right?
That's right.
So, I mean, that's really, showing, some good, and that was the thing, too, that maybe parts of the community that you don't always go by, you get to see the community part of it, so.
Well, the biggest concern is the biggest problem is, other than the inconvenience of taking a little extra time, is the big trucks that come through. Sometimes, like you mentioned earlier, their GPS will route them one way, and they think they've got a better route when they should follow the designated route. And as long as the big truck semis can make the corners, we're okay. That's our biggest dilemma when they have difficulty negotiating the turns, and these big 53-foot trailers, it's a job. So.
Well, I think that, yeah, and that's true, and I think they've been trying to update the GPS and try to make sure that they give updates to tell them not to do that, but we know some still goes on. But I know, like, I've pulled a horse trailer before, and I know that that's quite a bit a difference when you're making those turns into, and sometimes they're really tight. Some of them are really tight, so, and you don't want any danger on any part, so. I guess, so basically on them, would they even be able to go over that bridge weight limit, or is there a...
They don't have a choice.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well.
Yeah.
All right. We'll go on a wing and a prayer.
Yeah.
That's right. Well,
That's all you're getting.
and how long approximately do we know? Is that, I need to check in on that. It's going to be a minute. It'll be a little while.
Yeah, I hadn't heard what
Okay.
their
I can't remember.
drop dead date is,
Yeah.
but
Well, we have that going on. So, I mean, and we're not complaining. We're explaining, just keeping people in the know. So please let everyone, know this. And then I know we talked about this real quick, just do a recap. Last week with the mayor, there's going to be doing work on Main Street, North Main Street too. But now that will be a one lane. So the flow will still keep going.
Yeah.
It won't be closed down. Yeah. So people, we get that. So, yeah. Not too many. That says it all.
those who live in the eastern part of the county, there's going to be some work this summer on some what they call small structures. They're not really bridges. They're big culverts or box culverts out on Highway 160 out down South Boston out toward the county line at the Clark Forest too. There'll be two of those, I believe, that are slated this year to be repaired, and the runarounds there aren't going to be too pleasant because one of them is the Pixley Knob area, and it'll be a big runaround. So another minor inconvenience, I guess.
Right, and that will fixing those will help with what's the
Well, the culverts are just deteriorated to such an extent that they need replaced, and they don't want the roads to cave in, obviously, or they're
Right.
sunk down. So,
I mean, are they adding new? I guess that was my
yeah,
question.
they'll be
Sorry.
putting
new ones in, or
yeah, they'll
okay.
be putting new ones in. And,
I don't know if they were repairing the old ones or fixing new ones. So that's nice to have
Yeah.
new. Yeah.
well, then hopefully, what will come with that? Hopefully, I'd like to see the state do some repairs on 160. I know a lot of people in the county don't travel that, just mainly people going. I guess a lot of people, when 70% of your workforce does work out of the county, most people take 60, but not too many on 160. But it's a fairly heavily traveled road, and they need to do some asphalt repairs, in my opinion. But they've probably got it on their schedule at some point, hopefully.
So how does that work? Like, do you put in like to the state, like as a commissioner, can you give them suggestions, or like can you put in a wish list?
We could, but they have their own plan. They have their own engineers that determine the condition of the roads and act accordingly. And we don't get involved with the state highways very much at all, unless we happen to have a bridge that we are responsible for, that we partner with them on occasion. But as far as the highways, no, we have really no input there, other than I guess we could call and complain like a citizen could. But other than that, we don't.
Well, they would love that, I'm sure. Yeah. Well, I just meant like I didn't know like if they have like a suggestion, or what I mean, because this is your county. I mean, your county, and they're all over the state. I mean, what I'm saying, I didn't know like if they, like to say, hey,
Yeah, they used to have meetings in certain areas, depending on what the situation was. Gave people an opportunity to voice their concerns in the local area, but I don't know, they kind of got away from that a little bit. I think they do. There's an opportunity maybe once a year for some of us to meet up at Seymour, where the district headquarters is for our area, for the state of Indiana, for NDOT. But I think this year it's scheduled on the same day and time slot as one of our commissioners' meetings, so we won't be able to attend that. But we have a pretty good relationship with them. So
yeah, and I think they really try. I mean, they're doing the whole state. I think they do try to make it fair, and I think they try to make it where people know. And it's not, it's called growing pains if you want to, or whatever you want to call it. I mean, these are things that haven't been done in a while. And, when they put so many million in a community, you have to realize that they're giving you attention as a community, and that's a good thing.
right.
It's going to be inconvenient, we know that, and it's going to be a bit of moments, but it's going to be a good thing in the long run.
Yep.
And get it done. No, what about the? Do you know anything? And Todd, I don't want to put you on the spot. But at Pekin, that bridge, that kind of seems like it's been at a halt.
Somebody said they couldn't get the supplies that they needed.
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah. I don't know any details on that. Once again, that's a state project.
State project. I just didn't know if you had heard. I didn't know because
hadn't heard anything other than what Laura had mentioned. I'd also heard that there was, what is the term we like to use since COVID, supply chain issues.
Yes,
Yeah,
that was the exact wording that I heard.
Well, I heard that too. I heard that too, but I didn't know if that was a.
Yeah, they were saying they were going to wait and start it like this summer, I believe.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I asked that is because a lot of people have been asking, and let's go back to Pekin with the 4th of July. Of course, that's their big event, and they were worried at that time if the bridge was going to be open, and it seems like. And it was, what a blessing, for the 4th of July. But it seems like it's been kind of like, you haven't seen as much. But, of course, we do know the supplies. Has that been anything with our county? Have we had a lot of trouble with that, too, trying to get supplies in?
It's really random. The biggest concern that I've had the last couple of years is, we have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of culverts across county roads, and these steel culverts, ranging in size from 15-inch up to 30-40 inches. They have basically, they've more than doubled in price, and that's been that's been pretty painful from a money standpoint. And steel has come down a little bit, but the only bad thing is it gets up so high to a point, and unfortunately it doesn't come down quite as quick for some reason. So
Like the price of eggs.
I was going to say, what's going on with the eggs? What is the deal? It is, I mean,
You guys laughed at me.
yeah,
The
Laura has
chickens.
chickens. Laura has chickens over
Yeah.
there. So we all have eggs because of Laura. No, but just like everything, and just like even the gas prices. I mean, they go down a little bit, but will we ever see them down like what they were? You know what I mean? You kind of wonder that, and on these prices too, right?
Oh yeah, and everything is tied to the petroleum industry. Everything. This is one reason why everything we buy is so much higher than it should be, because you got to get it from point A to point B, so it takes fuel to do that. And I can't understand why some people can't get it through their head that we have all these reserves in this country, but yet we would rather buy it from someone else, I guess, and pay a premium. But we won't get into politics.
Oh, we would love to talk about that. We're 100%. Yeah. That's it. Well,
We
I think.
don't have enough time.
Yeah, I was gonna say that would. We'll have to order lunch if we keep going on that, because that isn't. That's a lot, but it's true. Yeah, and I think everybody's feeling that. I think everybody's, concerned. When the groceries, I think that's the hardest hit with the community. I mean, not that all this other stuff is not important, and it works, and it kind of like, I guess, a circle, everything. But when you start seeing the groceries, like, that's what breaks my heart. Like eggs, and and just everything, from milk to eggs to your,
They did so good. They gave raises when COVID hit, and all of these things, but it's not really making much of a difference.
And it seems like, I thought, my understanding was, I was thinking January is when we were going to possibly see coming a little bit more normal, but I don't think so. I think it's actually January's like maybe coming a little bit harder, I could think, than maybe predicted, I thought.
Yeah.
So I think I think a lot of people are doing that. I think it's more focused on groceries than what I think everybody's doing right now, just trying to, how much is it? How much is eggs now? What are they up to?
A dozen of eggs was $2.99 at Walmart Saturday.
That's sad.
It is, yes. We need that protein, right?
Right.
How can we bake those pies and cakes, right? If we don't have our eggs. Anyway, so yeah, everybody's talking about that. But going back to this, okay, is there any other? So we need to get those kind of fixed and kind of taken care of. Attention to detail, because even though when you're talking about the running of the water and making sure that it doesn't stand on the. Explain a little bit what the process is and how important those are. The culverts, how important they are.
Okay, well,
yeah.
First of all, you
Talk
can't,
Road
you
101.
Can't have you can't have a good road, unless you can keep the water off of it. The ditches, I know. Sometimes people get a little irritated when we do ditching because we can't ditch an area of a county road every 6 months or every year. So there's a tendency to maybe ditch it a little bit deeper, because we know we won't be back that way for, it could be 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years, because we've got several hundred miles of road, and that is because, you got to keep the water off the road, because water on the road, especially in the winter months when it freezes and thaws, gets in the cracks and crevices, and this is what makes these potholes. And keeping good ditches and culverts so the water can get where it needs to get and get away is really, really important. It's probably the most important aspect of a good road.
I don't think we realize that sometimes. And the ditching, that's the cheaper way to do it, right? And that just is going through, and taking a machine and making ditches. Is that what we're talking about?
Well, it's just maintaining the existing ditch.
Yeah.
is always
Yeah.
really
Well, and I think that's something, and I always want to maybe for the newbies that, because we've been talking about this for years, because this is why we have 4 different seasons of weather, and sometimes we have 4 within an hour.
I was gonna say within the day.
Within the day or the hour, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so that's where so much of your roads would take so much, if you will, I guess, trauma or whatever you want to do, whatever. They take a lot because you have your you know your cold, your warm. I mean, and that of course affects the roads. And then if you have standing water, I mean, there's so many things that come into our roads in our community. I mean, we're very blessed, and I think we all love and we all respect in our community that we do have the beautiful seasons, and we love fall, we love winter, we love spring, and we love summer. But with that comes a price on the roads.
That's right, it does. I need to get Superintendent Boyles in here maybe to come on one morning here in a few months, and he's an expert in his field, so he can give you all the details on what's going on at the Highway Department, and a better explanation than certainly what I can, because he's well versed in that and does a wonderful job. We're very blessed to have a guy like him. We've got a good crew, good bunch of workers. Yeah. The road foremen, they're good, and we try to when we get a call, we try to get it resolved as soon as humanly possible. Obviously, if we get a call on one side of the county and people might expect something to be done in a couple days, sometimes that's hard to do if we have to run a machine all the way across the county or whatever, but depends on the situation. But we try to get the problems taken care of as soon as humanly possible. And these guys out here that are working at the Highway Department, they can't always see everything, and some of these problems may come up at a moment's notice. And so none of us commissioners have any problem with people giving us a call or calling the superintendent if they have an issue, because it becomes a safety matter. And people say, well, you don't like to hear people complain, but once again, they're not complaining, they're explaining. Right?
There you go. There's my words, Todd. Yay!
So, anyway,
that makes me happy for you.
And we honestly don't get a lot of complaints about our roads. We get more calls about, for instance, things that happen in a short period of time that may rear their ugly head, like if we have a heavy rainfall or something washes out, or some debris in the road, which can happen anytime, and we try to get taken care of. And Superintendent Boyles does a very good job of getting things addressed on a timely manner.
Well, I think that was a good relationship with him, because, like, he's one person in your crew, but if you see something, say something. I mean, if you're out there and it's your road and you travel it every day, you're going to see more than everybody else. So there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, we've got a pothole here, or we got something going on here that needs to be addressed. I think that's working together, to make it the best for everybody, fair to all concerned.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Are they ready for the snow if we get more snow?
We're always ready.
Look at that!
Yeah.
How has it been so far with what we had? Let's talk about around Christmas time.
Yeah. Well,
that was.
Thankfully, that didn't last very long, but we're probably, I'd say, as far as our consumption of salt, cinders, and sand, we're probably running about an average rate. Stockpiles are good, and I think everything looks good. So always try to be prepared for the worst, because we all know in southern Indiana weather can change at a moment's notice. So we're ready.
Right.
We're ready.
And we do know. I mean, this is not over yet.
No, we're not in.
I
Buckle
bet we
in.
got our Christmas snow. We can just move on now.
No, buckle in. I've not done sledding yet, so that snow, I mean, it came, I loved it, and I loved having a white Christmas, but it was not good for sledding, really. So, like, we need some good sledding snow. I mean, yeah, so we need some.
Too cold.
And See, we're on the same page. I agree.
You guys, no, come on now. This is the way we were made for this kind of stuff, guys. Yeah, we were all raised here. We're all locals. We know what we're doing here. This is right. I had to tell myself that. Get over it, Becky. You are in Indiana and you know how to do this. So anyway, but no, it's good to know that we are prepared if we should be, and I think the guys and the gals, everybody did a fantastic job. I think it was a of course during the holiday too, and they have families too, so you got to give them we gave them a big shout out and thank you for all that they did, because they did keep things safe, and everybody got to, the horse knows the way to carry this to grandma's house or whatever. To grandma's house we got to go. Oh, you guys, let's leave me out there. Nobody's gonna. Todd's like, I'm not touching. No. Okay. Anyway, so let's go back to a reason I say this is because David Brown used to always talk about when you become a commissioner, you don't. I mean, just like even if you and Jana were taking a vacation in another state, you can't help but look at the roads everywhere you go.
Yeah.
I mean, right?
Yeah.
He said it changes your life forever. I mean, like there's no place you'll ever not go that you won't look at the roads, right?
And everything, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure, yeah. And because, I mean, it opens your eyes to all of this, Sorry. She adopted us. I don't know. Anyway.
Mouser.
Yeah.
It's fine.
We have a kitty cat in the studio. All right. Anyway, so back to the commissioner stuff though, and back to the roads and stuff. I think it's important to just kind of go over that and just remind everybody that things like that are necessary and importance they are to make sure you don't have the standing water on the roads.
Yep.
Which
Yep.
I don't seem like it seems like that has really come a long way on that. I mean. I mean, years ago, you seem like you used to come up with more standing water, and don't seem like I see that as much anymore. So you guys are doing a great job. Yeah. All right, so hats off to that. All right, let's talk about some other commissioner jobs. How's the fairgrounds? All ready for the fair coming up?
I think they're going to be ready. I've not stopped by there for a few days, but I think there'll be a meeting coming up here, fair board meeting. Their monthly meetings to get things in order, and we had a great fair last year. I think they even set a record for attendance, and of course they need that income to maintain the place, and the county helps them out a little bit with the income since we do own the property, and I think county fairs are. From what I understand, are kind of going to be a thing of the past someday, and I don't want to see that happen. So I was involved in 4-H when I was growing up, and I think that's very important for the youth and their involvement, and teaches them a lot of skills, hard work, and social skills, and we have a good group at the Extension Service that helps with the 4-H, and really they're the ramrods of that, the Extension Service, and we've got a great group of ladies in there, and the kids really have a good time, and it's a learning experience at an age when they need to be taught hard work and with the animals, and teaches them responsibility, and I'm a big fan of 4-H.
Me too. I was a 4-H'er, and then even when my kids were 4-H'ers, I felt like I was a 4-H'er.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's a family, everybody.
Before.
Yeah. I said I've been in.
Finish all this.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that was
bits and pieces everywhere. I'm
Yeah.
like, I told you for months.
Yeah, I've told it many times. I remember my mom. We're never going to do this again. We're gonna start earlier next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a joke in our family that I took weeds in 4-H when I was young for, I think, 3 years straight, and I tell people all the time, I kid them that my mother went to the state fair in weeds when I was in 4-H.
you know, one year I did flowers, like, and it was, I had to make a corsage one year.
Uh-huh.
My brother he mowed over the flowers that I was going to use.
No.
Yes, so I ended up having to use these little hibiscus things for the corsage. It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. I will never forget that. My mom screaming, "Stop! Stop! You're running over our flowers for parade."
You always need a backup plan.
Always.
He mowed the whole thing down.
That's so funny. Well, that's and I didn't even realize. I guess there was a division of weeds, but I used to check everything.
Weeds, but
I remember
flowers.
checking everything, and I remember like having so many different projects to do because I liked everything.
Oh,
you know, it was like I wanted to try this and try that, but I still have the biscuits that were when she hit them on the table. They I used too much flour. Learned about biscuit making. You know what I mean? I remember that. I remember her like even because they always have to sample. The judges have to sample, and she sampled it in front of me. And I know there was not enough water for her to get that biscuit down. Though.
Oh my lands! And the sewing.
Oh, I sewed too. Yeah.
I did too. I still have my apron I made.
I made a beautiful dress, and I still have it. And it's so funny. I'm like, when I say I made it, they're like, you did not. Yes, I did. I did make that, but that's
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I attempted to make it. I think Mom
Yeah.
did more of it than I did.
Usually-
it kept falling apart.
Yeah, there's a lot of that goes on.
Yeah.
Parents
Just like I
decide.
said, I think parents, you're involved. I mean, you were doing 4-H too, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it was funny because actually we had this discussion this week. One of my daughters, because she was putting together a board, and and I'm talking about she was making a really cool frame, and she was putting collective things together. And I said, you learn this in 4-H, how to arrange things and how to present things on a board. I mean, right? And
Yeah,
we were talking about that. And she said, yeah, I remember doing that. And that was, it's fun how things come back into play.
A lot of little things.
Yeah, like that. Yeah. So we do know that, but let's go over maybe for those that do not know, because we got some new buildings there at the 4-H or at the fairgrounds, which is nice, right?
Yep. And we've done did some major sewer line work. We had some problems with the drainage in the main restroom there, have had for years, and got that repaired. And we always find things that need repaired up there. Of course, a lot of buildings are very old, and it's a big job trying to keep them up in good shape and make sure the roofs don't leak. And but all in all, we get by, and with the price of things, we can't wave a magic wand and say, well, gosh, I'd like to have a new building. Does anybody have $3 or $4 million? Well, we don't, so we'll get by, and they do a good job, and we're happy to have so many people in the community that are involved in the county fair, and it's pretty important to the community, I think.
Well, I think it's awesome seeing how the volunteers. And so many people volunteer to help out, and I love that. Everybody coming together, helping out, and that's what's awesome. But as far as the buildings and stuff, I mean, those were really nice and needed, so that worked out really good for some of that. Are there any other buildings that are coming up or anything else that's being done?
Well, if we could win the lottery,
Okay.
there was some talk of building a newer building, but gosh, it's just so expensive to try to build something that you want. But maybe we'll have a fundraiser someday and get that done.
Well, yeah, that's nice. Well, that's good. Okay, so the which I have to agree, our fair was fantastic last year. I agree. Yeah, I think it was needed. Everybody was wanting and needing that, and
Yes.
it was handled well. It was done well, and so hats off to everyone. Yeah,
Yep.
so that was good.
It's almost like I think the reason for the uptick in the attendance and why we had such a good fair, that almost like a bear coming out of hibernation.
Yeah.
People were so tired of being, well, I wouldn't say necessarily locked down, but a lot of things were kind of
Well, we
shut
had perfect weather for the fair last year.
Yeah, the
too.
weather was
every
fantastic.
day
Yeah.
was
that helped too.
fantastic.
I'm over the baby contest and seeing the new little babies from COVID. I know. And you know, every mom loves to show their babies off. So yeah, they were adorable. So we had a good time. Good thing. So I think, yeah, I have to agree. Wonderful. All right. Anything else? Then let's see what else is going on. Anything else going on in the county that any new stuff?
Well, nothing necessarily new. Of course, interest rates have gone up a little bit, and that's not good for some people who want to borrow money by any means. But actually, it has helped the county out a little bit. We have quite a bit of money that any monies that we don't use, on a month-to-month basis is kind of in one big basket at First Savings Bank here, and with interest rates going up, we were able to earn a little bit more money on interest. So that's helpful. That may offset, hopefully, relieve some of the pain of the slowdown in the economy. But we're still having to watch things really, really close and make sure we don't get too crazy on spending, because it's a year-to-year thing with the budget and everything. Everything keeps going up and up and up and up, and our income is kind of stagnant. So it's really no different than what a family is facing in this day and age. They have basically the same income, and everything you go to purchase goes up, and it makes it a little bit difficult sometimes, and causes you to maybe be a little bit more creative, but that's part of it.
Well, I think that, yeah, and that's good, but like kind of going to maybe again, for those that do not, so the different departments in the county kind of go before you guys, and kind of
the council,
and kind of tell like what needs they have, right, or what they.
Yeah, well, they already have their budgets in place as far as what they might need or request. Well before the budget hearings. They actually start on them right now, and we'll work on them up until the time of the budget. And most of them are pretty good about doing their homework. We have a few that you would like to see spend a little bit more time on their budgets, but that's just the difference in people. So, yeah.
Well, and then looking at their budget, it's can we do it or can we not do it, right? And that's kind of either the green light or the.
We very seldom. Well, of course, this is the council. The commissioners are not as involved in the actual budget process as what the council is, because the council has they've got the final say on who gets what. But I should say, the council, they very rarely say no. And whatever the department head or elected official request, unless it's just something totally outlandish or ridiculous, very seldom does the council say no. So the council tries to be as accommodating and understanding, and a lot of it goes along with how well the council does their homework in going around and talking with the department heads and the elected officials to find out for sure what their needs truly are. Is it a want or is it a need? And that's what council members have to do. They have to sift through that and kind of help make the decisions. But they do. The council gives a lot of latitude as far as the decision making on the budget. They give a lot of latitude with the department heads and elected officials. So very seldom say no.
Well, that's good, and when they come, it's a good on both sides, because you know that they're really trying to get their needs, met or whatever, and of course, then it's nice to know that they're, that a lot of times they get the green light to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, ideas and stuff. That's when you have that. So they're working for the communities and working for their area, whatever. So that's cool on that. So then, and have we done that yet? Then the budgeting, or is it?
Budget hearings this year. Normally they're in July, mid to late July, but I think they're going to be about the 1st of August this year. So.
Well, and of course we know maybe by then maybe eggs will be down, right?
I hope so. Be nice.
Maybe the prices will be down a little. Wouldn't that be wonderful?
Yeah.
So
just gas would be.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. Yeah, that'd be wonderful.
Yep.
So going back to some of the other things that, what about like the courthouse? Everything going good? And
yeah.
Looks like we've gone from our air conditioners,
Yep.
no air.
We've got one old window unit that we need to get out, and other than that, the new HVA system, which was put in for the first floor and the basement actually, it's working pretty good. We had several hiccups in the beginning. It's just a lot of it just minor things, just a matter of programming. We would have one office that was supposed to be a certain temperature, and it wasn't. And but I think we've got it, got all the bugs out of it now, and it takes time. So each individual office in the courthouse has the ability to set their room temperature within a certain range, and the unfortunate part is, when you've got 4, 5, or 6 people in an office, everyone's different. Some people are cold-natured, some people are not, and so that's been a problem, I'm sure, since the beginning of time. But we try to find that happy medium, which sometimes is hard to do. But I think for the most part, things are going well. It was a really good investment for the county and the courthouse, and we're very blessed to have that building. It takes a lot of money to maintain it, but we've done a lot over the years with the new roof and making upgrades on the HVAC. So we feel like we're in pretty good shape. The only thing we've got to tackle in the coming years is to do something about the windows, and that will be very, very costly. But we're getting by. So that's the final thing, the big ticket item that will need to be addressed in the next few years. But other than that, she's in pretty good shape. Yeah.
Well, again, you can't eat the whole elephant all at once. You got to take it one bite at a time.
That's right.
And that's that. And what a blessing that can even be done in such an older building like this, to have that, the heating and that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I think it looks 100% better without the air conditioning. I mean, I get that they were there and why they were there, but it looks really nice without it. And it's going to be, I think it's fantastic. And I think any office, anybody works with, you're going to have.
Well, yeah. I was going to say, I'm here freezing right now, and I know Becky's fine. She doesn't.
I'm really bucking up this winter. I've told myself, I'm not going to. Mine never matter.
That's right.
I know. I have done good, haven't I?
You have,
I know. I was thinking Scrooge don't want to turn that.
We're labeling Greg as the Scrooge.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah. But anyway, no, I would probably be a little bit more so. Truth be told. But anyway, so it's good, and I just hope everybody notices. I think our courthouse is gorgeous. Going inside of it, it looks beautiful, and I think everybody does a great job with them.
Yeah, we're very blessed to have had. She doesn't live here now, but Chris Bundy donated of his time. If we would have had to hire someone to do what he did, I couldn't even imagine how much it would cost. And him and his volunteers, all the intricate painting they did on the inside, very tedious and time consuming, and He did it all free of his own time, and boy, he should really be commended for what he's done for our community and the courthouse, and making it look beautiful, and we're just so grateful to have had someone in the community like him. We really thank him.
Yeah, I agree. And he actually is not living here right now, but it's kind of go back to the old saying of always leave something better than what you, or leave it better, or hang on, leave it
better than you found it.
Yeah, so
Yep.
that right there would be a stamp right there for him on that. Because and we are very blessed, and it's absolutely beautiful in colors and detail that we would have, like, you go in that courthouse, we've all been in it since we were little bitty. You didn't realize all the detail till he brought it out.
No.
You saw, like, we passed by things all the time that you didn't realize. Then when he made it colorful, it really brought out the detail in it. Which I love detail, because that craftsmanship is kind of hard to find.
Absolutely.
Like that. You don't see that detail anymore.
But that's coming back, I hear. I understand that.
I like that.
Some of the school systems are finally seeing the light, the importance of these people who install HVA systems and do these labor-intensive jobs, plumbers and mechanics, things like that. College isn't for everyone, but there are, lots of opportunities out there for somebody who wants to get a career along those lines. You can get a job anywhere if you're going to be in that line of work, and I commend the school systems for putting that emphasis back where it belongs.
Yeah, I think you're right about that, and I appreciate you saying that, and I think that's true, 100%. And we know there's a lot of students that have actually, gone to Prosser and gone to done the extra, and they are making really good money right now.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's wonderful. And giving back to their community, too.
So some, for instance, like whether it be a boy or a girl, it doesn't matter.
Right.
People might say, well, gosh, let's see, in 8th grade shop class, I made a birdhouse. Well, what's the big deal in that? Well, here's the big deal. So you may have had a young person who was never exposed or never been around, whether it be a parent or a grandparent or an uncle who knew anything about woodworking, so he knew nothing about it. And then all of a sudden he builds a bird's nest, and he realizes how much he likes and enjoys that kind of work, and he likes working with wood, and is exposed to something he'd never been exposed before, and decides, well, maybe he would just like to do that for a living. So I think there's a lot to be said about shop class, or home ec for that matter.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Home economics.
I still have my PE cutting board that we made in 8th grade.
Yeah.
I had an allergic reaction to the wood because it had mold on it.
Mold on your wood?
Yes, I don't know how I did it, but yeah. But it was fine. It's the cutest little piggy cutting board.
Oh, that's funny. Well, I didn't. Home ec was huge for me. Gloria Gordon completely. I actually use everything she said. I put into practice today.
Yeah.
I mean, use it all the time, and it was wonderful. And I think you're right. All the different. We always talk about school being something that everybody should try. Try everything. You know what I mean? And try that, like you said, the woodworking. Try that to see if that's something that you are interested in. Any activities like that, or you never know what path you might get into.
That's right.
So yeah, and I think it's fantastic that we have those options, and some people just don't want to do the 4 years. They want to go ahead and start their life and start moving and going, and so you have options, and I love that. I think options, because there's no cookie cutter. Everybody's different.
Right.
So
Right.
I think that's good. So also so if somebody wants to become a commissioner someday, right?
There should be some
You should
kind
say
of
run.
a special school for wanting to do something like that. maybe a psychologist.
What does it take to become a commissioner?
I'm on the air, so I can't say. I will say this. I tell people this a lot. I used to be employed at a place where in the break room they had a picture of an old cowboy. His face was like leather and wrinkled, and he had an old dirty hat on, and had a cigarette hanging out of his mouth, and the caption at the bottom said something to the effect of, there's just a heck of a lot of things they forgot to tell me when I signed on with this outfit. That's kind of how our day goes sometimes.
Yeah, I think that let's take that to any office. We just had the swearing in of some new offices and new people starting, and for those new ones, I think that they're going to be like, you have an idea of a little bit, but you don't realize how time consuming. You don't realize decision making. You don't realize all of that goes into it. And meetings, you guys are completely, meetings.
Yes, we have lots of meetings.
Look at his face. He's looking in the distance going,
Yeah,
we have
there's
meetings. We have
lots of
meetings.
boards. Yeah.
Lots of boards, lots of meetings, right?
Here a couple of years ago, I saw former Commissioner Philip Lofton, who, by the way, was in an accident last year and got burned real bad, and he's doing very, very well, and glad to see him up and around. But he asked me, he said, "How's it going?" I said, "Oh, you know how it is." He looked at me and said, "How many boards are you on?" I said, "I don't know. I never did count." He just laughed. So, yeah, there's a lot of things. So when you get into this and you decide that you want to be a public servant, or some people would call us politicians. I don't like to use the word politician because I think half the politicians are, let's say, they're not real truthful. So if you think it's going to take X number of hours to do the job, if you would just double it, that would be a lot closer to the time you spend.
Whatever you think.
But it makes you feel good when you can do some good and help people. And it's all about helping people and making things work and make sure things run smooth. They don't always happen, but we try to do that every day.
Well, and it's giving back to your community too.
Yep.
Giving back to the county, giving back to the community, and it's something that I think anybody that steps out and does this, ought to be, hats off to, because it's any of the positions and jobs can be demanding and hard and difficult, and you also have to make, you're making you wise decisions. And therefore, you have to do all your homework, which takes a long time to figure out and talk to and do your homework to find out before you make a decision.
Yeah. One other thing too, when we are able to solve a problem and give people what they want and make them happy and get something resolved, people need to realize, it's not all about us, or it's not all about, for instance, me, because there's probably dozens and dozens of people behind the scenes who made that happen.
I agree.
It's not about the elected official or the public servant. It's about the people who actually do it, to see that it gets done.
Yeah.
And in my our line of work here, I feel like I just poke and prod and try to encourage people to do what they need to do.
Love that. All right, so we have entered in a new year. Happy New Year.
Yes, happy.
And I don't know that I officially had to say that to you, Todd. I mean, say that Happy New Year. And for 2023, we've got some new projects. What are we doing, real quick?
Well, we're just this year. We don't really have anything major going on other than just the normal day-to-day maintenance, and I might point out a lot of people don't realize how much money and time and effort it takes to maintain our buildings alone. You know, we've got of course, we've got the courthouse, and then we've got the highway department facility, and across the street we've got the building commissioner along with the emergency 911. You know, you've got the jail, the detention center, the justice center, the government building, and you know, it takes a lot to maintain those buildings. It takes a lot of money. You know, when you've got an HVAC unit that's been there 6, 7, 8, 10 years, and the life expectancy is about 7, and they don't give those things away anymore. And you know, we've got about 14 rooftop units on the new Justice Center that have to be maintained, and seems like there's always a leak somewhere, and always something that needs a little attention, and takes a lot of people, takes a lot of money just to maintain the buildings, and that doesn't even count paying the utility bills.
Right, yeah, sure. Well, it's good reminders, and just to kind of see it from your eyes too. You know, sometimes we don't realize all that goes into, but you can bring it to your own home, just like you said. You know, sometimes you can, you know, is it a want or is it a need? You know, you kind of got to see that way. So. And then
I missed one of the most important ones, the ambulance.
I was going to say,
we were blessed to acquire that building. I guess about 4 years ago, and it's state of the art. It's up to date. You know, we have an excellent ambulance service in this county, and we should be very blessed that we do have.
True.
Cost a lot of money to maintain it, but you know, sometimes you know you can't put a price on trying to save someone's life, and we have some very good employees, and all of our equipment is up to date. We've been blessed to use some of the American Rescue Plan money to upgrade some ambulances that we normally that the taxpayers would have had to foot the bill for. So we've got things up to date, and I just can't say enough about our ambulance service, the good job they do, and I know those who have the unfortunate case of using the ambulance service know that they are very qualified people, and do us a fine job.
I'm glad you said that. Yeah, I agree. And the baby box out there, fantastic. We have that. And, yeah. Boy, there's nothing like when you need them and the Calvary's comes, right?
That's right. Sure. And it's a big county.
That is true. Very true. Yeah. So, well, Commissioner Todd Ewing, thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate that and giving us an update, and look forward to see what's happening in the new year, right?
That's right. It's gonna be an exciting year, I feel. Yep.
So far, so good, right?
Yeah. So far, so good.
All right, let's take our
Absolutely. We want to thank Meadowview Healthcare, Walmart, Salem Crossing, Hoosier Uplands, Celebrity Home Loans, Dr. Black's Eye Associates, and Fox for Lee Wealth Management.
Before we leave, let's check in with Emma. Emma, are we still with us?
Yes.
Okay. She's hung on every word you said, Todd.
Absolutely.
She's looking forward to going home and doing some homework.
No, right? No, I think bed is like in her next. She's like, food. Okay, food. Okay, I should have known that one. Yeah, food.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, don't let anybody try to tell you that girls can't eat.
Oh, Todd, 100%.
They can.
You're totally right.
Yeah.
Yes. No, that was real quick. I'll tell you a story after Coffee Club.
Girls try to, not even know why.
That's exactly right.
They do.
All right, everyone have a wonderful Monday, and again, happy Martin Luther King Day.
Yep. Thank you.
This is Melissa Jeremiah with Hoosier Uplands Home Health Care and Hospice. Our professionals are available at 812-849-4447 to answer questions regarding home health care or hospice. To decrease the risk of being stranded in a winter storm, check your battery, antifreeze, wipers, windshield wiper fluid, brakes, and keep your car filled with at least a half a tank of gas. Our family at Hoosier Uplands would like to wish you a wonderful 2023.
Remember when you had your birthday party at McDonald's, playing with your family and friends, enjoying cake and that one-of-a-kind McDonald's food and drink? If you're looking for a fun and safe place to have a party for your children or grandchildren, look no further. Party time is back at McDonald's right here in Salem, Mitchell, and West Baden. That's right, hosted birthday parties are back, baby. Call event coordinator Rich.
Established in 1994 and continuing to offer the perfect balance of inspiring hope, unwavering truth, and a touch of goofiness. The Rick and Bubba Show.
It is 6 minutes past the hour from the No Name Studio. Another hour of the Rick and Bubba Show has begun. Speedy, the real Greg Burgess, Helmsy, Eddie Van Adler, all here for a brand new hour. And join me in welcoming back Bill Bubba Bussey.
Rick, glad to be here. Thank all of you for joining us, or as we like to call it, Rick and Booba.
All right, alert, alert. I'm going to do that thing that we do sometimes. It's going to spawn phone calls and emails of people getting us the answers, which is fine. And but you know, at some point when we kind of covered it, you know, you can continue to email if you want to, but we probably won't just go on and on and on. Mm-hmm. Probably once the first caller or two gets the answer, that's probably it. Okay, so we had a caller call the show the other day and asked, are there any filters out there that you can watch a movie or a show that will take out the Yuck Fest? And at the time, I was like, yeah, there's something, but I don't. This person was asking about streaming, and I was like, but I'm not sure how it works. Well, of course, that led to a lot of emails that were introducing me to something called Angel Vid. Yeah. So I don't really know how that works, but here's my question, because somebody was telling me, you know, that it goes in and you set the parameters. You know, I don't want this, I don't want that. So it got me thinking. I understand that part, and they told me where to go get it. But here's my question, okay? Because there's some shows, like for instance, the joke that they made. I told y'all about the, you know, Dutton's daughter and Paramount and the Paramount show Yellowstone. I can't watch it because she's so nasty. Well,
Or she was the mom in Heaven is for Real, and that always
right.
weirds me out
But
when I hear that.
what I'm saying is,
It's called acting. We gotta figure out which one's really her.
Yeah. Right. So then I go to the say I get the filter. Does she vanish from the show?
Yeah.
I mean, would she like?
You've
never hear her talk, Rick.
eliminated 3/4 of the episode.
Yeah,
I think
Vid Angel.
I
that's
think it
Vid,
mutes.
yeah.
Doesn't it just mute?
Does it mute? So Vid
think so.
Angel, like if I'm watching it, and of course I think that will be, there'll have to be some conviction come in. Rick, if Vid Angel has removed the whole movie, you probably shouldn't have been watching. But what I'm saying is, or the whole show, what I'm wondering is, like, does that stuff, like this is what I would hope it would do, because we all know this, we say this all the time, you know, is that, you know, I don't need to know what went on there. I see them that they've, you know, they've made the decision they're going to be together. They've gone into a door, into a place.
Charlie Rich is playing in
Right,
the
right,
background.
right. Cut to the next scene. We know what happened.
Yeah.
You don't at that point have to show us soft porn.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
We know. So would I see that, and then that scene would go
That's
away?
a good question.
And what actually is the
That is a good
experience like
question.
when you're
Yeah.
rolling through the movie and the show?
And I've heard about this
Vid Angel.
Vid Angel before, but I'm not familiar with the hardware. How does it actually interface
Right. That's
with what
another
I've got?
thing.
If I'm watching it on my TV, you know, I'm streaming, I'm getting satellite, I'm getting cable, whatever. How does it plug in, and how does it, you know, get upstream from what I'm seeing?
That's my second question. I agree with you. So I understand what you can do with it. That I got. I don't know what the experience of watching something with that on, when it takes it away, is it a mute or is it gone? Your question. And what kind of hardware are we talking about? I was told you could get it off Amazon, but what then? I don't know how that all works. Because I started looking at that. If it works smoothly, this is the answer. Because so many times you're like, you know what, 3/4 of this movie is great, but if that 125% wasn't in here, or, you know, how I could have done without that. The movie is actually pretty good. That was so unnecessary. That's another version of clunkiness that kind of gets embarrassing. But I started laughing, Greg, talking about, would that character completely just be gone out of the show?
In this case, you may be right.
So here's Mike and Florida. Now remember, once we get the information, you know, then we got it. But I just wanted to make you aware of that. So Mike, walk us through. Do you use this?
I do. I purchased this subscription a few months ago, and I really like it because I'm very. It's about $9 a month. I am very sensitive myself to a lot of yuck and a lot of profanity. So it's been really transformative for me because now it's allowed me to kind of go and watch some movies without hearing all of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, like you said, you basically go in, set your filters, and not only with profanity, but you can do it with other content. You can, for instance, you can say, hey, I don't want to see things where people are doing, obscene gestures like flipping the bird. And
Understood.
You get that.
Yeah, very well.
As far as sex scenes, for instance, you can basically set your limit. Okay, am I okay with having, men and women, kiss passionately? Okay, we'll leave that in. But if it goes beyond that,
So it's that detailed.
That scene.
It's that detailed.
Oh, it's very detailed.
Oh, wow.
Very detailed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like it.
So-
I think it's paid for itself. Yeah.
So how does the hardware actually interface?
Yeah.
in? How do you?
Yeah,
put
we go get the subscription, then what do we do?
Yeah, so basically what happens is, so they work with pretty much all the, it doesn't work with broadcast TV, at least from what I can gather. It doesn't work with broadcast. It works pretty much with streaming, but I mean, pretty much everybody streams now. So, like you basically input all your information from, your login information from Netflix, from Amazon, from Hulu, from YouTube TV, et cetera, et cetera. And so basically what it does, and I should say this, it doesn't do it with every show. It only does it for shows that are in VidAngel's library.
That they agree to. Okay.
Exactly, right. So
That's an important note.
Yeah, good info.
Yeah, for instance, we watch a lot of Netflix. Well, not every Netflix movie have they been able to process. I guess like on the back end, because I'm a techie, I guess it takes them a while to get these movies that they want to feature and go, okay, our software is going to, you know what I mean? So,
I got you.
like, they've got a lot of movies, but not every single one of them, if that makes sense.
It does. All right, so now, I would log in that information on the streaming service, and everybody that's in their library, that would begin. So when it begins, is it muted? Is it completely gone? Do you ever lose a storyline?
I've never missed enough of the storyline to where I couldn't, still follow the story.
Yeah.
Now, as far as like profanity, you have an option. You can okay, it'll mute it completely, or you can have it where it'll mute it and then still display it on the closed captioning, which to me doesn't make any sense.
That doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
Right.
But you're talking about it's a mute factor. I don't lose this scene on the screen, right? I still see the person.
No, not unless you filtered it for, say, like I said, if you don't want to see
nudity,
sex scenes,
yeah.
Yes, it will cut that out.
Nudity, it's gone. It's completely off the screen.
Right.
Okay. If not, it wouldn't be worth much. Yeah. Okay. So, but the profanity is a mute. Profanity is a mute. Anything visually that would bother you would be gone.
Correct. Yeah, and it may even be a thing because I remember one of the last movies I watched. I don't even know if there was a sex scene per se, but like it showed them kind of like you were talking earlier before I called. Walking into the room, it shows them kind of like starting the process. And then that part just kind of skips ahead to when they've got the clothes back on.
Well, no, that's exactly what I think we all would go, we don't need that. I mean,
does Charlie Rich play in the background?
Yeah, when we get behind closed doors.
No, I think it's more like Marvin Gaye, Let's Get It On.
Right. So So, Mike, but let me ask you this. So when you watch these movies, is it true, like I said a minute ago, and look, here's the deal. Can you at some point go, well, so much of the movie is gone, I probably should have never attempted this. This is really, it really is designed for movies that has stuff that you're like, that's just, that. It doesn't take away from the storyline, but it certainly was added for no other reason than for things that we, are unnecessary.
Like I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
One of the movies I've been wanting to watch for a while, was Top Gun Maverick, which, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, right, doesn't really have, even if you don't have any filters at all, there's not a whole lot of language or anything really bad, but, it's still got some S words and stuff like that here and there. Well, I filtered those out. It made it a much more enjoyable experience. Like when they had their little make-out scene and that, it kind of, helped soften that a little bit. So again, for someone who's very sensitive to stuff like that, and honestly, for most of my adult life, people go, hey, have you seen this movie? Nope, sure haven't. What's it rated? R? No, probably haven't seen it, as someone who's very sensitive to stuff like that, it's been really beneficial for
Well,
me.
totally transparent. The sad thing is, I don't think I'm sensitive to it, but I've discovered the Holy Spirit is.
Absolutely.
And that's where that discomfort it seems to be growing and growing. The more my sanctification and maturation continues. So yeah, you've been very helpful. Thank you. That's kind of.
Absolutely.
I didn't know what the experience would be like. Like, I guess if you tried to go for a Scarface, you would just never hear any dialogue whatsoever.
Right. It's kind of like the way I kind of like the analogy I make. It's kind of like trying to listen to a Snoop Dogg song that's edited. You know,
Right.
all you hear is beats.
Yeah, right. I got it. And that, Mike, thanks. That was very helpful. And so that's kind of what I was looking for. Yeah. So you log it into whatever you're watching. They can't do anything about broadcast television. And also the movie has to be in their library, and most are, but not all. And it mutes language and it removes anything that visually would bother you. That's helpful. All right, we'll be back. More Rick and Bubba next. Rick and Bubba. Helix Sleep mattresses are made right here in the USA, and folks, they ship right to your door for free. If you don't love it after 100 days of sleeping on it, they'll pick it up for a full refund. But based on how we feel about our mattress and what the 12,000 5-star reviews say on Helix Sleep mattresses, we know you'll love yours too. Head to helixsleep.com/Bubba for $350 off all mattress orders. This is their best offer yet, and it won't last long. That's helixsleep.com/Bubba for $350 off, or visit rickandbubba.com under sponsors. As a small business owner or a hiring manager, you know that success in 2023 is going to depend on the team members that you surround yourself with. That's why you got to check out LinkedIn Jobs. With LinkedIn Jobs, you can hire qualified candidates more efficiently. They make it easy to screen and rate applicants based on job qualifications all on one platform. They'll help you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/Bubba. That's linkedin.com/Bubba. Terms and conditions apply.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language. Like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
It's incredible. After using Babbel, I'm ready to start having real conversations in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Babbel. Évidemment.
Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
If you like burritos, which you do because everyone does, you should try Taco Bell's Chipotle Ranch and Salsa Verde grilled chicken burritos. These masterpieces start with a warm flour tortilla that we stuff with grilled chicken. But the real stars here are the both sauces, Chipotle Ranch or Salsa Verde. In fact, the chicken is the stage upon which these sauces shine. Like this mic is a stage for me to spotlight my theatrical range. 2 chicken burritos, 2 bold flavors, $2 each. Order on the Taco Bell app. At participating U.S. Taco Bell locations for a limited time only. Contact local store for prices, hours, and participation, which vary. Tax extra while supplies last.
How long does it take to tackle a home project? With Angie, you could cross it off your list before this ad is over. Just tell us what you need. Indoor or outdoor, repair or redesign. And we handle the rest. Sending a top pro to get it done. You don't have to lift a finger, except to tap the screen or click the mouse. Plus, Angie is free to use. So bring us your next home project, and we'll bring it home. Download the app or go to Angie.com. That's ANGI.com to get started. Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
If you are 65 or older, you know this. Watching your hard-earned dollars fly out the window on healthcare costs is so frustrating, but here's some great news. If you missed the December 7th deadline for open enrollment, it's not too late. Here's something that can really help. It's MediShare 65 Plus. MediShare is a community of Christians who share each other's healthcare bills. People who encourage and pray for each other, too. MediShare 65 Plus is a low-cost option for those with Medicare Parts A and B, and it fills in the gaps where Medicare stops. It's a great way to fight inflation, too. You can lock in one low monthly price for up to 10 years. Plus, it's easy. You can use any Medicare-approved doctor or get 24/7 telehealth access from the comfort of your home. So worth looking into. MediShare 65 Plus is open for enrollment, and if you join right now, before January 31st, your second month will be free. So don't miss this chance. Call 844-SHARE-65. That's 844-SHARE-65. 844-SHARE-65.
Today on Hey Culligan, reverse to reduce. Here's Bob.
Hey Culligan, I love fresh water, but I got plastic bottles coming out.
Whoa, Bob, you're not kidding about the bottles. But did you know Culligan's reverse osmosis and always-on drinking water systems provide fresh, clean, delicious drinking water and help reduce the equivalent of over 15 billion plastic bottles from landfills worldwide?
Holy, fresh, environmentally friendly drinking water. Am I right?
Right, Bob. And we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
Inflation's everywhere. We see it at the pump, the grocery store, heck, even going out on date night. That's why we like using Upside. Upside is an incredible app for anyone who buys gas, groceries, or dines out. With Upside, you can worry less about inflation because you get cash back on every purchase. To get started, download the free Upside app. Use our promo code BUBBA25 and get 25 cents or more back on every gallon of the first tank of gas. That's 25 cents or more back on every gallon using the promo code BUBBA25 or go to the link at rickandbubba.com. Minutes past the hour. The Rick and Bubba Show. We're back. 866 We Be Big. Updates. The Man Church Conference did sell out, so that is sold out. We'll see all of you that are coming February 24th and 25th from all over the country. It's going to be an incredible weekend, and we are starting the planning process of that, laying it out. Our theme will be transformed. We'll tell you more about that. If you didn't get a ticket, we hate that, but as we get closer to it, there'll always be those men that step out and say, I got tickets and now I can't use them, and maybe you can find some of them and get some if you didn't get any. But it is sold out. But themanchurch.com, we're doing one conference, our first ever conference, but we do have Man Church services. These are gatherings of men for services at churches that are doing our discipleship strategy, and you do have an opportunity to go see some of the guys there. So coming up this Thursday, January the 19th, Andrew Barbudas, First Baptist Opelika. He will be there. They've been doing the entire strategy. This is their 4th year, and this is their next Man Church service. Andrew Barbudas, your teacher, and go see Andrew if you're in and around that area or you're part of that church. On the 28th, a couple of opportunities. Crestview, Florida. Jordy Henson at First Baptist Church as they continue through the strategy. Go see Jordy if you never heard him. Great Bible teacher. Also on the 28th, I'll be at First Baptist Church, Jackson, Alabama via video. Got a great email last night about kickoff video. They used it at another location and got an update from the pastor on how that went. We do offer that. If you have a hard time booking somebody, your budget is not all that big, and you still want to do a good kickoff, we have a video message that works great. First Baptist Church, Jackson, Alabama will be doing that on January the 28th, and then I'll be live in the room at First Baptist Tuscaloosa on February the 5th, and there's others that you can find by going to themanchurch.com.